for 5 minutes.
And I guess I'm the last one, so I guess we can agree that we're not going to agree 100% on these things so far, what I'm hearing on this. So can we agree that there may be some things we agree on, and that's those things that we should probably focus on? But one of the things I heard when I came into the room was you said there are no new taxes in the budget. Did I hear that correctly? Because I just walked in at that time.
What I was talking about is the $580 billion, which is part of the $1.8 trillion compromise with Speaker Boehner. All of that is achieved through tax reform, not through raising rates. And I'll remind folks that in December, Speaker Boehner said there was $800 billion of tax reform potential.
I'll take that, yes. And I think that then meets the President's pledge early on and your interpretation that never to raise taxes on anybody who makes over $200,000. Less. I'm sorry. Less. So the President's pledge was never to raise taxes on anybody who made less than $200,000, and the President has kept that pledge.
It's a couple that make over $250,000, individuals $200,000.
And so he has kept that pledge with regard to this budget.
Yes.
And with regard to the cliff vote that we had at the end of last year, fiscal cliff issue. So the President has always kept that promise.
Yes.
And even when we passed the Affordable Health Care Act, he has kept that promise as well.
Yes.
And so we have never raised taxes on the American public who make under $200,000.
Yes.
And so the Supreme Court across the street was incorrect when they called the Affordable Health Care Tax Health Care Act a tax increase, because you still take the position, and the White House still takes the position, that that was not a tax.
That is a choice that an individual makes to not, who can afford.
So it is not, it is not a tax.
It's an individual responsibility fee.
So you're saying here again, you're confirming what you told me last year.
I am not a lawyer. What I am telling you is that those individuals
who can afford. Is it a tax or is it not a tax? Last year you said it was not a tax. Has your opinion changed since last year?
It is an individual responsibility fee.
Is it still? Yes or no? Is it a tax?
It's an individual responsibility fee. It's for people.
Is what I do on April 15th an individual responsibility fee?
It is an individual responsibility fee.
Is what I do on April 15th?
And I'll defer to the Supreme Court on technical definitions. I'm not a lawyer. I'll defer to the Supreme Court.
So I take that as that you don't know what a tax is and the White House doesn't know what a tax is.
I do know that when those individuals who can afford health care don't purchase health care, they are transferring costs to everybody else.
I reclaim my time. Also, when I walked into the room, you said the sequester was a terrible policy. I understand that the press secretary, speaking for the President, said that sequester was the White House's proposal. My question to you is there anything else in the budget that's before us that is also terrible policy that you're proposing? That's a yes or no question.
Let me clarify. No, I think I should clarify what I meant.
Yeah.
The sequester was a forcing function. It was not a policy that was meant to be implemented.
So
as a policy that's being implemented,
it's a
terrible policy.
Okay. Is there other times where the President has given us terrible policies as suggestions to Congress?
I don't know what you're referring to. I do want to make clear that...
Your own quote saying that you thought it was a terrible policy.
No, please. I said that the sequester was a forcing function. Implementing the sequester, an across-the-board indiscriminate cut, is terrible policy.
Reclaiming my time.
Implementation is terrible policy.
Reclaiming my time, I wrote it down exactly what you said. Sequester was terrible policy. But moving beyond that, we are operating right now under the 1974 Budget Act. Is that correct? As far as the procedure that we go through as far as putting budgets to the Congress?
Yes.
Yes. Under that law, the President is required and was required to present a budget to us 2 months ago, correct? The answer is?
The answer is the budget is here today.
We can't get straight answers even when you admit to what the law is. Does not the law require that the President submit it to us 2 months ago?
The reason for the delay was...
No. Reclaiming my time. Does the law require him to present the budget 2 months ago? Yes or no?
The budget is here today, and the root cause
Can you not
of
answer a simple question? Does the law require it? If you do not know what the law is, we can have you come back at another time, and once you can get briefed on what the law is. Does the law require that the President present a budget over 2 months ago? Yes or no?
The President's budget is here today. The President's budget...
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that we do recall this witness at a time that he can go back to answer simple questions as to what the law is. Do you know what the law is, sir? Do you know what the law is, sir?
The record will demonstrate that the witness has not answered the question.
Then I would recommend to the chairman that we recall this witness when he has an opportunity to refer back to what the law
Actually,
is.
just for the record, the witness did answer a question. You may not like the answer you're getting.
I was asking for, if he knows what the law is, he would not give an answer to that. The president has violated that law over the last 4 out of 5 years, and I would request to this chairman that we recall this witness when he can be briefed, not only on this law, but on many other times
The request will
when
be
he's failed
taken
to ask a question.
into consideration with the chairman.